Hey everyone, I'm back today with a quick tutorial on how to make these cute little stamped bags with sewn edges. And it's just a great way to use up all these paper bags and also use up your scraps. So all I did was take scraps of paper like this, strips, and I cut them to anywhere between 1 and 1/4, maybe 2 inches if it's going to be used for a bigger bag. And then I stamped images on them, and then with some of them I put little word stickers from, these ones are from Tim Holtz. And here's a couple of examples. I also did little tiny ones, and then I had a couple of these white ones that have the scalloped edge, so I thought those were really cute. But it's just a great way to use up your scraps and also use up these paper bags for your junk journals. So let's get into how I made these. Basically, all you're gonna do is just choose your bag, and these are 4" by 6.5" or 6¼ inch long bags from Hobby Lobby, and you can use whatever size you want. So let's set this up. So for these ones, I got I had strips from a scrapbook paper pad from, I think it was Hobby Lobby, and I just did, these ones are about 1 inch, you'll see they look a little bit thinner, and depending on how thick you make your strip will also depend on how big of an image that you have here. So you know, you could lay this here and then do like a little circle, or you could do something bigger. Another thing about this project that I wanted to point out, that if you don't have a lot of supplies, if you don't have stamps, if you don't have pieces of ephemera like this to put on here, you could just use scraps of paper. So what I did was I took a scrap of the same paper pad and I sewed around that. And if you don't have a sewing machine, you can just use a little white marker or black marker and make like little faux sewing marks on them. But I tried to find little images in that paper pad and cut them out, and then I sewed around those. So it's going to be like that. And I think I might ink around the edges just to make it stand out a little bit, but let me cut that first. So like I said, you're going to sew your strips, and then you're going to cut the strips to the size of the bag, the width of the bag. So it's about here. And then what's great is you'll have this leftover strip to use for another bag. You could probably make about two to 3 bags per strip if you're using a 12-inch piece. Let me move this more here. Okay, so that's perfect. Let me just ink around the edges really quick. And the paper pad that I got these scraps from were from Theodosia Square from Hobby Lobby. They came out with another version of it, and the papers are just absolutely beautiful. Let me show you some examples of the papers. So the other pad was really beautiful too, and so these are kind of all new, and I couldn't resist myself. It was on sale for half off, I think, for 40% off. So there's blues, greens, pinks. It's more of like a salmon color, but I mean, they're just beautiful and can be used for so many different things. So, okay, let's get back to this. So I inked around the edge of this. Now I'm gonna glue it. Okay. Line that up. Okay. Perfect. And then I'm going to ink around the little image here. I just wanted to show a couple of different ways to make these bags, because I know not everyone has stamps, not everyone has the same supplies or ephemera. So I like to show different ways that you can do this to kind of help give ideas. And I'm going to put this right here. Try to make it as even as possible. And then if you want, you can ink around the edge of the bag, but there's that one. And so this one, let's do this next one. Here's a really pretty image I found from the same paper pad. I'm gonna ink around this. And then this was the color strip that I chose to go with it. I'm gonna line this up. And if you want, you could just go through your strips and then, you know, measure them out 4 inches or however long your bag is, or however wide your bag is, and then cut them individually, like before you do this process. But I did not. I just kind of wanted to show you what I usually do. And if you have different size bags, you might not be able to do that either. Okay. So there's that. I did not ink this one. Oops. Let me just ink around it. See if I can lift this up a little bit. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to glue down this image that goes with that. There we go. So there's that one. Let me see. Let's ink the edges on this one and then we can see what it looks like. These are really nice bags though. They have kind of like a glassine inside to them. I don't know if you can see the shininess of that, but they're really pretty. Okay, yeah, that looks way better with it inked around. It's kind of hard because the light is kind of bright, but it looks better with it inked around the edges. Okay, and then this other one that I wanted to show is just, I did a scrapbook, just a piece of the scrapbook paper for the center. I'm going to ink up the edges. They would look really pretty even if you didn't ink the edges. I just like to do that on everything. Now I'm going to ink up the edges on this one. Perfect. So there's that. It's a little bit off center, but that's okay. So I would love to know what everyone else is working on right now, and if you want to leave a comment below and let me know what you're working on. Okay, so now I'll show you how just what I do for stamping. I have a little Tim Holtz, I have a little Tim Holtz stamper board. That helps a lot because it helps with placement, but if you don't have it, you can just stamp it and stick it down like that. Okay, so let me lay down a strip first. I have this music paper that I sewed. So let's lay this down. Perfect. The edges. Okay. Trim a little bit of this next one. As you can see, I'm not extremely precise. Sometimes I have to go back and fix stuff, but that's okay. I hope you don't mind. Okay, so let me lay down, move this stuff out of the way. I'm going to figure out which stamp I want to choose. Let's see if this one. I have these from him. It's kind of small. I do have this flower. Oh, that's pretty. I think I'll do that. So with this board, it's really nice because you just lay this down and then you put the magnets down so that you know, so that your paper or piece stays in place, and then you push this down to stick to that. So when you lay it down, it'll be all nice and perfectly where you want it. So the type of ink I'm using is VersaFine, just black, but you could also use the Tim Holtz ink. And I'm just gonna lightly dab that. And now we're gonna press it down, and hopefully this works. Yep, and there you go. Well, that came out really pretty. I like that. So another thing that you can do, like I said, instead of the stamping, you can just lay down a piece of ephemera. So I have these really awesome, they're like specimen cards kind of. I got them from JunkWithSteph on Etsy. I've gotten a couple of hers. She has, I think, 6 different versions, and they come with like 20 pages full of pieces of ephemera. They're really awesome. I'll link to her page, her Etsy page for those in the bottom. So for this one, I'm just gonna do, let's see, if I want to place this here, see it kind of which ones go with that. That's nice. Let's see. I have so many different strips here. Ooh, that's cool. Let's do that. So another thing about this project is it's really hard for me to sew straight. So I was thinking about it, if that bugs you and it kind of looks uneven, you could sew. I've seen people sew like I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a wiggly edge, and that kind of makes it so you don't have to sew straight. You could do that on this too. But with some prints, it kind of hides it, so that helps too. Okay. And then you can also, again, you could sew around your pieces of ephemera like I did with the scrapbook paper images. But I just like to make projects as easy as possible, and where you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff to do it. Because I know I kind of get stuck in that same thing where I feel like I have to go buy a bunch of stuff for different projects. And then we can, oops. Okay. That looks good. So there's the final piece on this one, and I'm going to ink around the edges, but I won't bore you guys with all of that. And then here's the one that I stamped. And the scrapbook paper ones. And then I'll show you some other ones that I did. Here's a little, I like the little ones, they're fun too. But there's just so many, you know, ways that you could dress this up. And if anyone wants to try this and show me their version, then please tag me. I would love to see it. I love seeing everybody's different versions of things. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I appreciate all my new subscribers. Every single one of you. I'm really grateful and just happy to be here and showing you guys my project. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Okay, thanks for watching.